Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Valen, and this is Astral Sorcery. Today we're going to be covering everything there is about the Mantles of the Stars. Okay, so, based on things in the previous episode, we followed the guidance of the book. We go into the Radiance chapter, and we're going to be covering everything about the Mantle of Stars. As you can see here, first you'll have to make a blank one, and then from there you can enhance it further to a special attunement. You don't drop it on an attunement altar. Tells you all about it in here, and if you have one that is damaged, as I do here, you can actually put it in an anvil and you can repair it with stardust should you need to do that. In order to make one of these, you'll obviously need to have the appropriate item in there. If you want to make one that is attuned to a special alignment or constellation, Vicio in this case, you'd probably have to look it up in the book by looking at the constellations, as I've said before. Let's choose Vicio, and you can go all the way to the end here. Mantle effect, which shows you all the things, plus you've got your different items in the back. This constellation tracing here represents the fact that you will need to have an attuned crystal. If I put a Vicio crystal in here with enough starlight, it shows up. If I don't, if I put in something like Aevitas, it does not show up at all. So, just be sure to keep that in mind, and then we can move on with more interesting Mantle of Stars. Alright, this is probably what you've all been waiting for. We're going to get to the Mantle of the Stars. Now that we've already made one at the beginning of the episode, let's show you what they can all do towards the end. Now, I've got a whole bunch of them here. I'm currently wearing one of them. There we go. I'm wearing a Vicio one at the moment. But let's grab the Discidia one. Alright, I am currently wearing the Discidia Mantle of the Stars. What this allows you to do is basically return damage to the sender. But it's not like Thorns like before. So without any special stuff short of my armor and my perks currently, you can see I'm doing 1.09 attack damage, right? And if I crit, I'm doing 1.6. So it's not that much. But while I'm wearing my Discidia Mantle of the Stars, I am therefore able to return damage that I have taken. So, knowing that I can only do 1 to 1.5 attack with a punch of a fist, let's spawn in a zombie. He hits me, right? And I punch back. I do more than 2 hearts. I'm doing a lot of damage, actually. Look at that. Doing like 3 hearts worth or something. I'll probably have the exact stats on the screen because editing is a lot easier to do. But as you can see, just from taking the damage, I'm able to do more damage in general. So that is how Discidia works. It allows you to reflect some damage. Ooh! Thankfully, I don't have mobs allowing destruction of areas, but it does allow me to return the damage in a different way than Thorns. Alright, here I am in another area, and I am now putting on my Evorsio Mantle of the Stars. What does it do? Simple stuff. It adds 2 to your mining size. So, you know how before, let's take this off. You have a special ability with your infused crystal pickaxes. If you turn it on, it is now enabled, therefore allowing me to mine in a 3x3 area. Yep, it's pretty good. So if I put on my Evorsio one, it will stack with that, allowing me to mine in not a 3, not a 5, but a 7x7 area. And there are perks that will allow you to mine even more than that. So it's pretty darn impressive. Just saying. Jeez, oh Pete's. Alright, there we go. Putting the Evorsio one back. I am now going to be wearing Vicio, which I think some of you might already know what it does. Essentially, I now have an elytra that no longer uses durability just for flying. And that's it. And it also works pretty good. I mean, and if I use the dash mode of the wand, man, I can go really fast with this thing. So it's just really nice to have one of these things to fly around with and not have to worry about the durability going down from just flying anymore. Especially if you have a traversal wand with dash mode, it just makes things so nice. Let's go to the next one. Aevitas. Alright, this one here is a little bit different. It's got 2 different abilities here. One is to walk on air. If you notice here, I currently have some glowies going on over here. I'm going to let go of the wand. And you can see I've got like green and white. Well, it's not going to work here because of the snow. If I go up here where the grass is, and there's nothing below it, it allows me to just walk out on air. Now, Let me change my mode to survival just in case you thought that it was creative something. But no, it's not. It allows you to just walk out on air. Now, if I want, I can actually go up. But watch my starlight power just on the XP bar. Every time that I go up, it uses up starlight. So this is another good reason to have your starlight regeneration increased. If I press sneak, I go down 1 block at a time. And again, it uses starlight power. Not quite as much. And this is really going to be, very important if you're trying it during the daytime when you don't get much starlight. It's going to be a bit difficult. But this isn't the only thing that happens. So let's actually set myself up for a bit of damage, shall we? All right, here we go. I'm going from creative to survival. And because I've got this thing going, I'm just going to try jumping up higher and higher and higher until it fails. Ow. I didn't take very much damage, but I also instantly healed. And it's not just because my hunger is full. I have a perk that's currently allowing that to just automatically be refilled. But if I didn't have that working, it still wouldn't make a difference, because what it does is it actually refills your health. Not even a regeneration effect. You notice there's no effects on the side. It's actually you being healed, like a splash potion of instant heal, but in small increments over time, which is really, really convenient. I like it quite a lot. It gives a lot of good stuff. The only thing is, if that's all you want this perk for, it might be a little bit more difficult to try and get used to this around the base, where you're like, okay, I just can I get down there, and then you gotta slowly descend or something like that, and then when you're trying to get up higher, and then you end up accidentally falling because of mobs nearby. Yeah. But it can definitely help you out with killing mobs a little bit easier. Alright, this one is Armara, which some of you, just ignore the arrows, that's nothing. Some of you might already be familiar with this. It's very similar to how it used to be. You get up to 3 rotating orbs around your person, as you can see right now. Just kind of these cool little orbs floating around me. These are basically globes of invulnerability. You can take up to 3 hits before they start slowly regenerating themselves. It'll take several seconds before they actually appear or regenerate if they've been used. But you can take up to 3 hits and no damage will be given. So let's start off with the fact that I want to go up really high and fall really far. So let's just try this. Oh, this looks really nice over here. All right, ready, and hui! No damage is taken. That's right. And he hits me. And he hits me again. But then, of course, I also have my protection armor, which probably helps me. But it wouldn't have prevented the fall damage from pretty much instantly killing me there. So you can see that the Armara is very useful for preventing that stuff. And of course, I only have 1 sphere has regenerated now because that zombie was just constantly poking at me. So even if it's like a silverfish just kind of tickling your toes, or if it's like, fall height from 3 million blocks in the sky that would demolish you instantly, it's still going to use up 1 of your spheres. But then, slowly, as you notice, they start regenerating and you get them back. Alright, what does Octans do? Octans allows you underwater everything, more or less. I mean, you get a little bit more freedom of movement down here. Now, normally, you already have your usual stuff. Now, I'm not swimming, I'm walking. But I am kind of speedy because of my perks that I have picked out. Regardless, if I were to go into swimming mode, I'd still swim just about the same speed. But I do have extra benefits. You notice that I'm not actually drowning. That's really important here. I also have this little friend here. Get out of here. Get out of here. I'm just going to get rid of that guy. Okay, so the other thing is that you're not hindered underwater, whether it be weapons or tools. So let's actually start mining this out. And you can see that it doesn't take anything at all, just like it would normally. And of course, if I'm outside of the water, I can still mine like normal. Whew, it's dark in here. So, Mineralis. This one here grants you the ability to see through blocks. Kind of. It's similar to the secondary ability that your infused crystal pickaxe has with, right-clicking and seeing some nearby ores. And it goes away and you have to wait like about 10 seconds or something like that, and then you can use it again. Instead, you just hold the ore and you wait a second, and then it will just show you where it's at over and over again, instantly. so you know that you're getting really close to it before you can find the item. Now, it doesn't have to be ores, but just holding a diamond, it's not going to work. You know, you actually have to hold the appropriate block. But it does work for other stuff. You just have to be aware that if there's so much of it nearby, it's not going to highlight everything. It's just going to highlight a good portion of it. So you can see there's lots of stone nearby. Lots and lots of stone. But this is also pretty handy for trying to find things that are nearby. You know, if you want to hold like a barrel, for instance, you might be able to find something. Or at least you would think you would. But it is currently not a solid block. It is, you know, kind of like a container or an entity. So it might not work in that way. But other things might. So therefore, you never know what may end up working in this case. It's actually kind of like a cool light show right now. But yeah, it's just a really cool mantle that you can wear for finding certain items. All right, this last one, or this isn't the last one. This next one, Bootes, is probably one of the most fun ones that I could think of. This one allows you to summon helpers in the fact of these little flares here. Now, you probably already noticed that I've already have one. It's kind of smaller and a little bit bluer than these other ones that have kind of like a purpley effect. It's similar to that, but not the same. It's just similar in the fact that it kind of looks like it. There you go. You're only going to ever have up to 3 of these. That little tiny flare that I have is very different in the fact that it is something that I earned, well, not earned, I paid for. I am supporting HellFirePvP on Patreon. If you want to do so, check the link in the description below. And from that, you're able to get your own little flare. And this one that I have, the single tiny one, it's only there for aesthetic reasons. But these other ones, these other 3, you notice has a half heart. Oh no, I popped it. Oh, it's dead. No, it's not. It'll come back shortly. You just have to wait for it a bit. But essentially, they're like your little defenders. See, there we go. I just repopulated a new one. This is more like a fun one. It is not incredibly effective. Just be aware of that. So by attacking things, they're not going to attack. Let me change to survival. They won't attack things. Now, if something hurts you, then they will. Would you just... You're always showing up at the wrong time. Let me grab something a little bit more effective, like some spiders. Let's hit them, and then when they start hitting me, my minions will start attacking. There we go. Get them. Get them. As you can see, they'll shoot little lightning sparks. Now the problem is that I had a creeper blow all 3 of them up at the same time, so I had to wait for them to start regenerating and populating back into the world. But if you are hit by something, instead of it hitting you, they will start attacking and slowly kill it. But they do have a very limited lifespan. As you can see, they only have a half a heart. So they're cute more than anything else, but it is more of a fun mantle to mess around with. All right, so Pelotrio. This one is a little bit more interesting. Let me get set up. All right, so now we enter the world of Pelotrio. Pelotrio is rather interesting. If you have stuff that needs to get mined or chopped, this is definitely going to be the one that you want to choose. So let's start off. If you use any kind of axe or pick or sword, basically this is what it's going to end up doing. So let's start with an axe, shall we? Now I currently have this disabled, so it will not harvest all the trees. But if I chop one real quick, it will generate a little axe minion, which will then run around and start clearing out all the trees. Now it has its own lifespan. It can die. There it goes. But you can also spawn new ones. If you use your ability of your tool, it will spawn in a whole bunch of them at once. So just be aware of that. There we go. The more of these that you end up using, the more little minions that you end up spawning. They're pretty darn cute. But it's not just for wood. You can use it for things like digging. So let's start with this. I'll dig one, and there we go. We now have this one little pick that runs around, does cool stuff. All right, well, let's actually enable my new ability of doing a bigger area. And I'm going to chop this, and I'm going to make a whole bunch more of these. Oh, look at this. You can just clear out areas really quick. Now, to give you a little example of how it actually works for these ones, if you aim at this block here, so I'm a 2-block tall character. If I aim at this foot level block, it will clear out everything in that area at this level. It will not go down lower. So you just need to sometimes mine in a couple blocks here, and it will start clearing those out. Now again, if you have mobs nearby too, you can therefore start using it to attack them. Now if I use my super crystal sword, I'll probably just end up killing this guy with one shot. So let me get something a little less powerful. There we go, a wooden sword. Perfect timing, come here. I'm going to hit you, and I now have little sword minions that come out. And then I can hit my sword minion and generate a sword minion. But then it may end up dying. So don't hit your minions unless you really need them to go away. But still, there you go. You can have your own little spawnable minions for axes, picks, and swords. Alright, so for this next one, we're going to be wearing Fornax. Fornax allows you a measure of fire resistance. It's not the same. It's a bit different. You still take hits, but you just don't lose life. So let me make sure that I've got a spot here. Put down some netherrack. I can light that. I can also put down a spot here of some lava. And I can stand in here. I'm not taking any damage. My armor durability is staying the same, right? I'm burning. But it's fine. And I go out relatively quickly. What happens if I go into lava? Well, a little different. I still am not taking any damage. My hearts are staying still. But my durability is going down. The mantle itself is actually taking the hits. But this is definitely a way of getting some kind of fire resistance without having to constantly drink potions. Alright, Horologium, which is one of the most difficult constellations to find and come across, but also one of the easiest at the same time. If you see an eclipse, then you know that following night is the night that you're going to want to trace stars in the sky to try and find Horologium. Hopefully you've advanced far enough that you have a constellation paper that's unlocked. But if I equip this, I then gain the ability to stop time. And by stop time, I just mean for a few mobs in the area. So, if I do this, and they start attacking me, look, we get sparkles. I also tripped and fell in a night vision drink here. But you see that they've got little zaps going on. It freezes them for a short time, allowing you the opportunity to escape or just straight up kill them if you so desire. But you see it now has a cooldown. It's not going to last forever. But it will take some time for it to recharge. Probably a good like 20-30 seconds before you can use it again. But you just take a hit and you'll freeze enemies in an area, allowing you, well, a measure of whatever you want to do at that point. Alright, so this last one, Lucerna, is probably best shown off in spectator mode. Let me put this on, and you'll start seeing, eventually, some things start showing up. Little dots showing up in the landscape and so on. Let me change my game mode. Alright, I'm now in spectator mode, and you'll probably notice that some things are glowing green. These are going to be more or less some kind of container or item that can take another item into it, like chests, barrels, even relays, because they can hold an item in them. So, if I were to continue on further, you'll notice that I see lots of yellow glowy bits. Sometimes I might see, here we go, an entity. We've got a skeleton. Now, if I were to continue on, and of course we've got like a creeper and stuff, if I look further underground, I might start seeing things glowing red. Now, I know it's dark right now, but you could probably see some of these red sparkles going on. Now, obviously the yellow is entities, but what is red? Well, red is spawners. You're going to be able to find spawners through walls with these sparkle effects, which can therefore help you just, well, find things, know what's coming around the corner a little bit easier. Kind of a premonition as well as a bit of a way to seek things. So that is Lucerna. And there you have it, my friends, the close of another episode. I hope you've enjoyed this bit by bit. If so, be sure to give a like, comment, subscribe, and as always, come visit us on Twitch. Don't be afraid to spread the mischief, and click that notification bell. Until next time, folks, I'll see you. Bye.